each of these ideas starts off with a noble, positive goal. But then in the service of that goal, if we have to murder and rape truth, so be it, because the social justice goal is more important than the defense of truth. So let me give you a concrete example. Equity feminism is a great idea. Equity feminism says men and women should be treated equally under the law. There should be no institutional barriers that cause one sex to be less likely to succeed in anything than the other sex. Well, based on that definition of feminism, most of us, and probably all your viewers and listeners, would say, yeah, sign me up. I'm an equity feminist. But then radical feminists came along and said, well, that's not enough. In order for us to accelerate the battle against the mean patriarchy, let us now promulgate the idea that there are no innate sex differences between men and women, and any sex differences between men and women must be due to social construction. And if we promulgate this idea, it will allow us to more quickly reach our goal of gender equality in society. Well, you see what the problem is. In the service of what started off as a nice goal, we end up negating reality and raping and murdering truth. So I can chew gum and walk at the same time. I could be for social justice without murdering truth. Unfortunately, wokeism doesn't do that. Wokeism says up is down. Some women have 9-inch penises. Left is right. Slavery is freedom. No, I will not agree to that. That doesn't make me mean. It makes me a solid defender of the truth.
But still, wokeism, this ideology, which you describe as totally unsustainable for the species, Homo sapiens, human beings, it has had a stronghold, or has been I would say it has been the leading ideology in Western societies for the past 10 years, or roughly about so. Would you agree with that, or how would you describe the status of the woke ideology?
So it might be that the last 10 years is when people started seeing it on their radar, on their way to pick up the eggs for tonight's omelet. But I've been standing on top of the mountain for nearly 30 years screaming for somebody to pay attention, right? The reality is it takes a while for these things to spread, right? When I first started attacking all of this parasitic nonsense, people would say, oh, come on, Dr. Saad, this is just some silly idea that is in some silly department in the humanities. And then I would answer them, but guess what? Those ideas eventually will break out of the lab, right? Just like the Wuhan COVID virus came out of the lab and then us locked down for 3 years. The bad ideas might start off in some esoteric philosophy department or women's studies department, but then it becomes our prime ministers and our leaders in industry and our Hollywood stars and our prime ministers in Canada. And so yes, you're right that people have taken notice over the past 10 years, but the origins of those parasitic ideas, we can date them back to 50 to 100 years ago, depending on which parasitic idea you're talking about.